Hi, everybody. I am J. Robert Deans, and I write and draw children's books. While I'm probably best known for my bad puns, I'm also the creator of Shakes the Cow and Stanley, the bear from Ant. Today, we're going to draw Stanley. So let's get started. What I'm going to do first is just go through the basic shapes that make up Stanley. And we'll draw him from the waist up. So we'll start with just the circle for his head and the sort of barrel rectangle shape that makes up his body. And from there, we'll add the other elements that help. Like there's an oval that goes around on the outside of where his neck would be, which is also where the turtleneck neck is. Big ovals for his fluffy ears. And then rectangles, which make up his arms, and a couple of circles that we'll put up there for his paws. And Stanley, unlike my other creation, Shakes, hasn't really changed a whole lot in how I draw him over the past 5 years. I originally created Stanley in 2015. So Stanley this year is 5, which is like, I don't know, 20 in bear years. I don't know. I don't know how old bear spies get. Here I'm adding just a couple of other details. Now what I'm going to do now, which I don't normally do, is in a different color in the green, is add even more detail for you to see before I start inking. That'll help you draw Stanley better. Like the little extra details like the fluffs of fur on the ears, where the ears are in terms of the inner ear fluff and all that. Obviously he's smiling. The extra fluff on the top of his head, the outer bits of the turtleneck around his neck, and then obviously where the shoulders and arms are, things like that. Little details like that, where the sweater, the turtleneck sort of hangs off his arms, and then of course the ant logo, which is fairly new to the outfits. In the first couple of books, Stanley always wore a suit, which you see on the cover of the first book there. But lately I've been drawing more casual Stanley. Don't know why, I just decided he wanted to dress not so formally. One other thing I have been doing, and I'm not sure why I did this, but most cartoon characters have like 3 fingers and a thumb. I've always drawn Stanley as having just basically a thumb and a paw with no fingers. I don't know. But let's get to inking. For those of you unfamiliar with Stanley, Stanley is the title character, the bear from Ant. He's a spy. And Ant is an international spy organization that takes care of cases that the local law enforcement can't handle. And Stanley leads a team of agents that help him out. And the Bear from Ant series are chapter books for middle grade readers that are just now reading chapter books. And their adventures specifically geared towards that age group. You'll notice I made a mistake there, and one thing I tell every artist, and it's also part of my Shakes video, is don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you'll learn a lot more from those mistakes than you will from never making a mistake. And you'll notice I made a couple of scribbles inside the turtleneck sweater. Little details like that add to the sort of realism, even though you're drawing a koala who's a super spy. Little things like that add to the dimension and to the realism of your art. They make it come alive more. And little motion lines like that around his hand help show the people that are looking at your art that like he's waving or that he's moving. You'll see that a lot when characters are running. Their little arms, little marks around their bodies that show that they're running. Things like that. Little tips and tricks that help bring your art to life. There's another mistake. I didn't like the way I drew the logo. And I'm much happier with this one. So let's erase this or remove those pencils, and we'll start coloring him. And then what I start with is the dark blue of the turtleneck, because I had to make sure that the blue of the turtleneck was darker than the blue of the logo. So there's that dark blue. And then put in the gray of Stanley's fur, because all koalas are pretty much gray, and really dark gray for the nose and the eyes. And fill in the hands, or paws, I guess I should say. And then the logo. And Stanley is finished. But not quite. You always should do one thing. Always sign your work so that people know you did it. So here we are. Let's sign my work. And Stanley is done. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to see your drawings of Stanley. And I hope you enjoy the books. And so when you can, Send your art to fans@grandpunwick.com. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye.